witnessing a surge in nationalism, and it's at the expense of the Jewish community's tragic history. There have been several marches commemorating the nationalist movement's World War II leader, and even the authorities regard those who collaborated with the Nazis as patriotic heroes. And as Paula Sleer reports, that means thousands of murdered Jews are being ignored.
RT Volodymyrsky was 20 years old when he signed up to join the Ukrainian nationalist insurgent army. His goal was to fight the Soviets, who he saw as an occupying force. But like other nationalists, he had another enemy, the Jews. He blamed them for cooperating with the Soviets and killing Ukrainian prisoners of war.
There were some among us who were forced to go to war, but it is not often that their memories recalled. They were nicknamed Bandera people and were driven like cattle before the attacking units, without weapons or uniforms. My school friends had to join the army. They conducted a forced crossing of the Vistula, and they all died there, having no arms.
In a 3-day pogrom that ended 68 years ago today, the Jews of the Ukrainian city of Lvov were dragged by Ukrainian nationalists into the streets. They were publicly humiliated and their property confiscated. About 4,000 were killed.
They were not forced to do that. I mean, they were completely their own initiative. I mean, I'm talking about the local population, because this Nachtigall group, they were not the only group who participated in the pogrom. There were simply people, I mean, simple people, you know, simple, ordinary citizens who carried it out. They were not forced to do that.
An exhibition of declassified documents is on display in Moscow. It sheds light on the movements of the Ukrainian nationalists and outlines how the groups collaborated with Nazi special services. These pictures show one of their headquarters.
These documents were shown to Israel's Holocaust Museum, Yad Vashem, but they didn't really need them. They have eyewitness accounts of tens of thousands of survivors who saw just how ready the local populations were to hand them over to the Nazis.
But it's a controversial point in Ukrainian Soviet history, because the present Ukrainian government refuses to see these men as murderers.
Sad as it is, the current Ukrainian government is implementing a program on making heroes out of the organization of Ukrainian nationalists of the Ukrainian insurgent army. We can't forget the numerous ethnic purges of Poles and Jews. The current Ukrainian government tends to ignore and forget about those victims.
Marta Weiss was denounced by someone who lived in her community. A Holocaust survivor from the Czech Republic, she says locals across Europe took the opportunity given by the Nazis to kill Jews. Their motivation was nationalism or simple greed. On her 10th birthday, she was sent to the Auschwitz death camp with her sister.
My sister was beaten with a cat of nine tails to admit that she's Jewish. She denied it. Of course, everybody, you can imagine, everybody collected to see what's happening, all the neighbors. When I heard them ask her where her sister is, and she told them that I went to the park, I said, no, she didn't. She went that way towards the station. Now, what was the reason? What did I do to them that I should tell them, no, I went there? The only reason was anti-Semitism, and I didn't want a little Jewish girl to survive, child to survive.
Despite the evidence, nationalists like RT Volodymyrsky are proud of their role in history. They refuse to acknowledge their part in the massacre of Jews, simply stating they were fighting for their motherland. Paula Sleer, RT, Israel.